Hey there everybody, this is Tyler with Apex Auto. We're going to be starting here shortly on the 2004 Ram. We're going to be tinting the front two windows as well as the eyebrow for it there, or sun strip as some might call it. We did use a plotter for all of our cutting, so we will not need to do any hand cutting on this vehicle. But that said, I'm still going to have a blade ready to go. Anytime that we're starting our tinting, we always do want to go through and make sure that we are starting with a freshly snapped blade. Just like so. Now, while we're waiting for anyone to come on and join, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start prepping this window here. All right, you always want to make sure that you have a good clean surface. It's going to make sure that we do not get any contamination behind any of the tint that we have there. And yes, I am starting with the outside, and no, the tint goes on the inside. Definitely want to get up inside of all of these visors here as well, because those collect a lot of dust. And then we're also going to go ahead and grab a fresh rag, go ahead and do some more scrubbing, but we'll start by just squeegeeing a lot of this down. And we're always going to be moving in a downward angle. That's going to ensure that all of our debris that is built up on this window is always going down. Oh. Who we got there? We got Jake, we got Brooke. Hey there, how are you doing? Now we're gonna get up in here real good. Yeah, it's a little bit dirty, not that bad. And I've got this window cracked just a little bit so I can get this top here, but we're gonna be bottom loading this, so we do not want to be rolling it up and down as much as possible. Every time we roll it up and down, we are going to be getting debris on the window. That's going to be coming from all these strips on the edges that like to hold it, especially on these Dodges where they have those felt strips. Now for that, if I were to have any issues with it, I do like to go through and I clean up all my edges with a clay bar, but we will not have to do that here. I will go ahead and hit it with our scrub pads though. So moving to the inside, I'm going to stick not with the glass cleaner, but our slip solution. Alright, this slip solution is very, very simple. It has next to no additives in it. It's basically just water and soap. But what that means is we're not going to get any haziness or anything behind our window film once it's installed. And right now, we're scrubbing this top edge, because that top edge gets a lot of dirt collection from always sitting in that windowsill, especially on this driver's side window, because the driver's side window is going to go ahead and see most of the up and down rolling action. And that was pretty dirty there. It's a little bit difficult to see on the blue pad. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to scrub first on all of our sides, across the top, and then down the sides once again. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to flip our pad and do the rest of our window. This is just going to loosen up any dirt or debris that we have on here. And make sure that we get a nice clean install for them. Then we'll squeeze that all out. I like to start from the middle and work my way out. Every single time, once again, just to make sure I'm not dragging anything from the edges into the middle of this glass. Because if we do have to retrieve any debris out of here, I definitely don't want it to be from the middle of the glass. Alright, and then I think I'm going to hit this with a quick razor blade just to make sure that there isn't any burrs. Sometimes you get that if it's ever been worked on in a body shop, where you'll have someone maybe grinding next to it or anything crazy like that. And again, we're going to go ahead and go across the top here, down my sides. And now I am going to go through and, because I want to make sure that this whole thing is scraped and I don't find anything. If you just glide, you're not going to find everything that's on this window. You do want to go through and just scrape downward in a pretty consistent pattern here to make sure you don't miss any spots. coming through. This feels pretty smooth so far, so I'm definitely happy about that. We're not seeing any burrs or anything like that that might need to be scraped off or any imperfections in the glass. All right. I like that. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna spray it out, and then we're gonna go ahead and squeegee it one more time. And then we'll be ready for an install. Right now I'm flushing down the window. Reason that I'm flushing down, once again, is for that debris, anything that builds up in that side of that window. We want to make sure that is stuck in and down. Now, rest of the window, start from the top, go to the bottom, give nice big sprays. You don't need too much to go on there. Middle out. Again, top to bottom, middle out. Remove some of this tape here because it's getting a little bit closer than I like. The tape, the whole reason for that is just to keep this felt edge away. But now that everything's pretty well wetted, I don't think we're going to have too many problems with that. I'm going to leave a little on this front edge though. That's the closest edge right now, and we're going to go ahead and tucking the film in there. So we want to make sure that that's going to stick nicely for us. All right, good and good. So we're wetting it one more time because when we wet it right here, that's what we're gonna have that is gonna be kind of our floating material or our slip that goes in between these windows here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We have all of our computer cut. I'm gonna show you those there before I set you back. I will be right back with this driver's side window. So as I grab this, I am going to be putting a pair of gloves on to make sure I'm not getting any fingerprints on the back of the glass. And then we are going to, here, heck with it. You guys can watch. Figure out a quick setup here. Possibly. There we go. Boom. Like I said, we're going to go ahead, we're going to glove up. Ooh, remind me to buy a size bigger next time. These ones are going on a little tight. Either that or maybe my hands are just a little bit wet yet. All right, so right now I have these placed on backwards. You'll see why in just a second. That's going to be so we can get our film off of there. And we're going to leave the top piece of the backing on these. All right, so as I peel this up, and I have this nice and easy for us to peel back up then as well, because we've got that slip solution underneath it, and we left a decent amount of this backing on here. When you do not leave that backing on there, I've seen people struggle for minutes trying to get one of these to peel back. So I got my blade ready as well, because we're going to be going through and spraying this down as we go. The reason we're spraying is to keep any contaminants off of it, and this peel back method actually does create a lot of static, and that static once again is going to create a lot of debris that's getting captured here, and we don't want that. All right, so like I said, we're gonna leave that top little bit on there. Give this one more quick good spray. Give the back of the window one more good spray. I'm gonna get you guys set back up over here while I grab that. All right, guys, moment you've all been waiting for. So again, I left that top piece of plastic liner on there because when I'm grabbing this and transferring it, I don't want to have any issues with fingerprints getting on there, even though I am wearing the gloves. Okay, with our bottom load, we're always going to start with the front or hinged corner of the glass. And right glove's going to go. A little more slip. I don't know if we put enough soap in here. There it goes. Getting that first little corner to start there is usually the most difficult bit. Start laying the rest of this and let it kind of just flop on me here. And you want to kind of stay nice and level with it too. Make sure it's not touching any of your edges if you can. Again, that's kind of why I leave the plastic on there too, so if it does, it's a little more forgiving. Okay. Other glove's gonna go, so I got some trash in here. Sneak that in with that card. Kind of see how this top's starting to line up here. And yeah, we're gonna have enough room. I'm gonna take this top piece off. Get that top edge kind of lined up here while we now sneak the rest of the bottom in. Just using my pink card, not normally the card I would use for this, but it was the one that was in my pocket. Usually I'd use this to get corners and stuff after they've been sat. Don't want to crease there. There we go. Get everything to spread out nicely in here. Again, avoid that creasing. Perfect. Okay, now once everything is on and kind of in place, I like to go through and just use my hand. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start pushing out some of the air bubbles. When you have air bubbles that are underneath that film, what that's going to end up doing is causing the adhesive in that spot to stick before you would want it to. It also might cause your film to move around a little bit more on you than you would like as well. So once those are mostly pushed out, just with your fingers there, get everything lined up nice and good again. And I'm going to use my orange brush and placing good firm pressure up in this corner here, I'm going to start squeegeeing back from the center. And I'm not putting too much pressure on right here. This is really just our first tack at this point in time. We want to make sure that it's going to go ahead and it's going to hold nicely for us. Alright, once we've done that, we're just going to double check to make sure we don't have any debris that's built up in here, nothing crazy that's going to stand out for a long, long time for this customer. And I'm really not seeing anything. You like to take it in thirds as you go through and just kind of look. And just one more across the bottom here. Yeah, and I'm really pretty satisfied with that right now. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to push this out with a hard card. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of Teflon tape to it because that makes it slip just a little bit better. Alright, so if I weren't using this Teflon tape on here, this card here is going to go ahead and it's going to scratch up this windshield, or this window, the film on the inside at least. And we don't want that. This stuff goes through and makes it just kind of ride like butter. So any of my new cards, here's an old card I have with it on there. You can see right on the edge where it's a little tinted. We want to go ahead and we're just going to pull a little bit of this out. We're going to lay it flat on one edge. Find ourselves a blade real quick. We're just going to cut off that edge. And then I'm going to come straight here and cut off this edge as well. Roll it over nicely. Making sure that it conforms really, really well. Like so. And then I'm going to take these ugly edges there and we're just going to take those off with this nice sharp blade. Just like that. And even though I have that on there, I'm still just going to get a couple sprays on here. And we're going to start pushing this glass out. Now, the reason we're pushing this one more time like this and with a little bit more pressure is to make sure we don't have any water bubbles that are underneath that are going to stay for a long period of time. Like right here, I've got one. I'll kind of show you a little bit better what's going on the inside here. So if I can catch the right light, I don't know if you guys can see that. Right here, we've got a water bubble that's in there. Another one that's right here. So we're going to go through, like I said, with some good pressure. We're just going to push that along until it gets to an edge, and it pushes right out. Pushing again. And we're just going to kind of continue this process the whole way through here. And again, always center out, center out. Alright, just looking her over again, make sure I don't see any water bubbles that are built up in there, anything crazy that I might want gone. Double check that area. Okay, it's just wet on the outside. That's just water on the inside. Okay. I'm going to heat this top edge here real quick. We're going to go ahead and get the glue to set on that. Once we do that, then we can roll the window up the rest of the way. And we'll finish the process. So I have two of the Wagner heat guns. I like to go ahead and I take these and I set them to their 950 setting. So I just found that that's a really good temperature when I'm about 2 to 3 inches away. If I hold it for 3 seconds on a spot, it's going to do a really good job of setting the glue without melting anything away. We're going to take that same hard card that we had as well. Just waiting for this to heat up. Okay, I'm still keeping my hand on it. There's no way that's hot yet. Not going to be doing what we want it to do. While we're at that, so I'm going to get these cleaned up here real quick. That's a used rag. We're not going to use that. We're going to go ahead and put that in the wash. We're going to grab a new rag right away. Put that in the old tool belt. So it's ready to rock and roll. A lot of people ask me what they should be cleaning with as well. I let them know right away, either an alcohol solution, otherwise spray way is probably the only glass cleaner that I would recommend to use on it. This is an ammonia-free glass cleaner, and it's going to be streak-free as well for you. That's probably what we're going to use on this once we get it cleaned up. All right, little torture test. Yep, a few seconds, that's hot. So once again, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slowly move along as I go here. Because from holding it on that previous edge, it's already going to be set just a little bit, so I don't have to keep up with my 3 count. What I'm doing here is I'm just going through and I'm setting all that glue. I'm pushing along here too to make sure that we don't have any imperfections. We don't have any of the film opening up as it stretches. Very good. Now, my arms aren't long enough. I'll have to go ahead and finish heating this piece here and hit the rest from the inside. Put power on that. It's going to start cooling down. That's what you're hearing over here. And I'm just going to set it in a safe spot. And we're going to finish off this inside real quick. Alright. I'm liking it. Alright, we'll roll up just a little bit. If that's cooled off a little. Yeah, it is. Alright, so heat on, roll it up. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing we were doing at the top there, and I'm just going to start pushing all these out. And I want to clean this outside of the glass here real quick because it's not giving me a good visual on the inside. It's kind of showing through. Right now I'm just going to make sure all of my edges are really good and tucked as well. Now with setting the edges like that, there's a good possibility that I will not have this vehicle come back due to somebody rolling the window down. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to set the bottom now as well, the same thing that I did to the top. That way there's a lot less of a likelihood that I have a customer coming back and having rolled down his window a little bit prematurely, or her window a little bit prematurely. Don't discriminate. Could be either. And then what will happen is, if your glue's not set in these corners here, it's actually going to go ahead and it's going to peel up on you as you go through when it hits that edge. Well, here, you guys can't see the full window here. So you can see what we're trying to do here is we're trying to match the back glass. It's looking a little bit lighter than that one is right now because we're going to still be able to see all the light that's coming through from that passenger side window. Once that's on there, everything's going to be nice and clean for us. So again, just kind of showing that completed project. And oh, gotta turn her up to high so we can get 950. Alrighty. Okay, good. The reason we're heating the outside of the glass, yes, I know the film's on the inside. If I heat that a little bit too much there on the inside of the glass, it's a lot easier to burn your film. It's going to shrink up at that point in time and shrivel and just not look good for the customer after we're done with it. And we don't want that. You know, we want a nice quality install. I'm going to hit these edges here too. And I'm going through, I'm pointing away from my gaskets. As I'm going through, the gaskets can take a little bit of heat, but I like to be safe. All right. Fantastic. I think we're good to clean that window up. Let that cool in a safe spot again. All right, and start with our spray away. Just to get any debris and stuff off of there. That new rag we grabbed before. Same thing on the inside. Use a lot less here because this is already pretty clean. It was a fresh install. Use a rag too. Now I'm not lifting the rag as I'm going through. I'm going through and making sure that I'm just taking any debris, I'm pulling it with me. Now so I can get this vehicle finished up in just a little bit faster time. I'll shoot you guys a quick follow-up. You'll see on my page we'll have some post-install pictures that are on there along with the pre-install pictures, and then we'll see about uploading this as well. But I'm going to go ahead and try to rock out the rest of the vehicle here real quick. But thank you guys all for watching. I really appreciate it, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, okay?